Hello YouTube, this is Salam. In this video I'm going to review the ARCCAPTAIN CUT 55 LED plasma cutter. I will unbox it and cut a few pieces of metal with it. I hope you enjoy this video. They included some stickers and the manual for the machine. It's very lightweight. It's 8 pounds, 12 ounces, almost 4 kilograms. This machine is multi-voltage and can run on 110 or 220. It came with the air regulator. A gauge, a filter, moisture separator, and you could adjust the pressure over here in case your air compressor doesn't have a regulator. It came with 2 screws. They have Phillips head to attach the regulator to the body of the plasma cutter. And there is 2 threaded holes over here to attach the regulator to it. It also came with the hose clamps. It came over here with the barb to connect your air compressor. And they also included this hose. However, at my shop, I have a quick connect. So I'm going to go ahead, get some tools, remove this barb, and install a quick connect over here so I could attach my air compressor easy to it. I'm going to go ahead get an impact because this is very tight. I matched this barb to one of these quick connect, and this one has its own sealant to prevent leak. So we don't need this. It also came with this card. And these nice stickers. And a carrying strap. It has a handle, but you could also carry it on your shoulder. This adapter measures 12 inches. The cord itself, it measures 6 feet from the machine. The work clamp 10 feet. If you use it with 110, then this will be 7 feet in length. I connected it to 220. The torch itself, it's very well made, very flexible. It has this trigger guard to prevent accidental activation of the plasma, so you have to lift it and press it. Also, the machine came with the wrench and a few consumables. It's 10 feet too. So both the work clamp and the torch cable are 10 feet in length. This part for the trigger, it has a notch over here. Make sure to line it up with this connector. All right, I'll move the camera. I'll bring some scrap metal and we will try to cut metal with it. I'm going to turn it on. The LED are very bright, which is very good. It shows I'm connected to 240 volt AC and the mode is 2T. You could change the mode from here, 4T or 2T. 2T, once you press the trigger, you have to keep hold it to finish the cut. 4T, you press it to initiate the cut, and then you have to hit it again to stop, or once you leave the cut, the machine will turn off by itself. I will test that in a second. At 240, the minimum output current is 20 amp. All the way up to 55. This dial, it's optical encoder. If it reaches its limit, it's continue to roll. And then you can set it back down. And that's really it for the setting. I set the regulator to 60 psi and the current to 55. This machine has high frequency start. You don't have to touch the tip to the wire to initiate the arc, which is a very good thing to cut rusted or painted steel. And also it has both airflow to cool the tip down after you do the cut. Okay, I'm going to start by cutting 16 gauge piece of steel. It's clean. I'm using a barrel so I don't get my concrete dirty. You could use a flat stock or you could use a framing square to get your cut square. However, these just scrap pieces. I just want to show you this machine operational. It had no problem cutting the steel. Also, the slag is easy to clean. This one over here is 11 gauge. It also slices it like butter. This 316 painted steel, I need to grind it a little bit to make good contact to the work. I'll be back. I just grinded a little bit to make good contact to the work clamp. 316 thick painted steel. No problem at all cutting painted steel. Now a 1/4 inch thick clean steel. Little bit rust, but that doesn't affect anything. And really, it doesn't burn the metal. It applies the right amount of current to cut the steel. You see, even the thin gauge. It cut 1/4 inch, no problem. With the plasma cutter, you're not restricted, to just cutting straight line. You could cut any shape you want. For example, this 1/4 inch, I'm going to try to make a slot right in the middle of the metal. Or even a hole. Very minimum amount of slag. You could set 2 flat stock so your slot will be perfect. However, I'm just demonstrating that this machine will penetrate through the metal. All right, this over here, no, this also 1/4 inch painted steel. I thought it's 3/8. I will get another piece of 3/8 and cut it. But this one is painted. For example, if I want to cut slots in this one, and I want it to be perfect, You could use this to tie the bolt, make an adjustable fixture or bracket. Okay, now I'm going to step it up to 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch thick steel. And it's painted. I grounded this area. If it's cut 1/2 inch, it's going to cut 3/8, no problem. Look at that. That's really a good cut. The slag came out very easy. This really way better, you know, plasma cutter in general way better than using the grinder or the torch. You see, it didn't take no time to cut this. Just some air and electricity. Let me go find a piece of 3/8 steel and cut it before I cut aluminum or stainless steel. I find piece of 3/8 steel. And I'm going to cut it the long way. This is 10 inches and 1/4 inch. Okay, finally, I'm going to try to cut a 3/4 inch piece of steel. It cut it, but I believe 1/2 inch will give you a cleaner cut. Let me try to go slower. It did better going slow. However, it didn't shear it off like the 1/2 inch. But I consider this good. This comparable or even better to using the oxyacetylene torch. It's really not bad. I think it did good with the 3/4. But as you see, the air will start going to the side. The 3/4 is the limit. I will not try it with anything thicker than a 3/4. And this is a schedule 80 pipe. You could build a collar so you could cut it better and it will give you straighter cut. I just want to demonstrate this machine is capable of cutting any shape of steel. And now I'm going to try to cut this heavily rusted shars for a plow for a tractor. And this about little bit over ½ inch at this end. All right, now I'm going to try to cut piece of galvanized angle. Cut it, no problem. This is 14 gauge galvanized steel. I'm going to try to cut aluminum. This is a 3/8 thick. Cut it, no problem. And this piece of stainless, it's 11 gauge. I'm going to cut a small section of it. Same thing, it cut it, no problem. One last thing I would like to try is to cut this very hardened steel This is a ball bearing, a tapered ball bearing. I removed all the rollers. Let us see how this plasma cutter do of cutting this one. This area over here is about 1/2 inch or maybe thicker. This outside, yeah, it's about 3/4 inch. But it has lip over here. So I'll try to cut it by apply the plasma cutter this way. It cut it, no problem. I am checking the input current on the machine on 240 volt AC, cutting this 1/4 inch piece of steel. Now I'm going to check the 2T and 4T. Like I said, the 2T, you have to keep pressing the trigger. And now I set the mode to 4T. and 40 work fine. Now I have the machine connected to 120. I'm switching to this camera. It's 120, 2T. The current, the maximum at 120 is 35 amp. I lower the pressure of the air. It was set at 60 before, at 240. Now I have it set to 50 as per this chart. You see 30 to 50 psi for 110 and 30 to 70 psi for 240. It cut the quarter inch just fine on 120. As you see, it did just fine on 120 volt. As I demonstrated, this machine worked great. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and thank you for your support, and I'll see you later. Take care.